All right, all right. So we are currently live right now. I'm just waiting for the call from David and Jesse. Should be coming in any moment now, and once they call in, then we'll be good to go. All right. So let me see here. Gotta set up the chat over here. Activate. All right, I think that's good to go. All right, for anybody that's tuning in right now, thank you for tuning in, and it shouldn't be too much longer before we get that phone call. We are connected. Let me ask you guys, for anybody that's out there right now. Hey, Marlene, how's it going? You gonna be? Yeah, for sure. I am. I'm on both right now. But over there on the other side, you get to see me if you want to. If you are tired of looking at the changing backgrounds, then you could take a look at me. Let me see who else do we got on here. All right, so there it is. We got the phone call coming in. All right.
Esta es
This call is
Global
now being
Telling.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en
That's not bueno.
de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California.
Hey, what's
Esta
up, Cha-Cha?
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
How's
You
it
have a
going? Hey,
prepaid
what's
call.
up,
You will not
M-Star
be charged
Media?
for this call. Para aceptar
Miss
esta
Vero, hey, what's
llamada,
up? How's it
diga
going?
o oprima ahora el 5.
Bupak, hey, what's up?
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, hello.
James. What's up, my
David, what's up? How's it going?
boy? Right here, just posted. What's up, doggy? Yep.
What up,
Kicking back
Jesse?
with my compadre right here.
That's right.
Man, what's going on?
Man, I
good.
just right here, rushing home from work, trying to beat that traffic, trying to get in before 8 o'clock, so we could bring this, to the audience here. Hey, we got a few people tapping in already. We got Marlene, we got M-Star Media, we got Bupak, we got Mad Max 408, we got Miss Vero and Cha-Cha tuning in right now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
hey.
welcome to prime time.
And we also we got somebody that knows you guys, Jesse Aguilar. He says he was with you guys in right there in Centinela with Eric, Jesse, Felipe. He put a comment today on one of the video vids that I did with Felipe a few days ago.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. It's crazy that you said that because literally I was just talking to his old celly about him the other at work the day before. Was it today, Saturday? Yeah, on Thursday. I was literally asking his old celly like, "What's up, man? You haven't heard from Jess?" And he's like, "Nah, I haven't," because nobody had heard anything. I was wondering how he was doing and all that. That's cool. If he tunes in, tell him I sent my love and tell him to touch base with us, man. People been wondering how he's doing out there.
He's right here. Yeah, he's in the chat, so he could hear you guys.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Check in, Jess. We're wondering about you, bro. You're one of the good guys. So everybody was always wondering, like, man, nobody heard anything when you left. So we're kind of wondering, how everything's going. Yep, that's awesome. You did it.
We send ours.
Yep, Big Jess got out of here after like 19 years. He did his thing in the board and was able to get up out of here on his first try. Yep, yeah. Somebody was in the transitional housing with him. I forget who. Somebody was with him. I forget. Somebody was talking to somebody else that was in the transitional housing with him, though. But, yeah, that was the last I'd heard anything about him, so that's cool.
Yep, that's cool, man. Welcome.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Oh, so what's the latest and greatest with you, James?
Well, I haven't been on with you guys, for the last few weeks, due to some work commitments and other commitments. Like last week, we were out in Anaheim. We went out to a Disneyland, and I was trying to get some feedback from the viewers, trying to find out where I could sell either my plasma or maybe some bone marrow or something, so I could recover some of that money for the tickets from Disneyland.
Yep. You should have just made some taffy, man.
They're gonna be selling James's organs on the black market.
No, he already sold those. He sold those in the Netherlands. Yep. Can't sell. You can't resell organs, James. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know you ain't got no other kidney.
Double hustle.
Yeah, double hustling. Yeah, the same kidney. Come on now.
I'm trying to double dip over here. Come on now.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's man. So you've been seeing all the crazy stuff going on right now with that Menendez thing, the Menendez brothers.
Well, you know what? I have seen that they've been getting a lot of traction. On Netflix. I think like a week or two ago we watched that mini series that they put up, and then we started watching the new one that they had up. So yeah, and then as a matter of fact, I think my lady was watching the Kim Kardashian, and where they went down to Donovan, and I think that one of them might have came out on there. So yeah, they're definitely getting a lot of traction right now in the media.
Yeah, we were hearing it. My wife was talking about it a little bit, and then we're kind of having we're going back and forth a little bit. The pros and cons kind of that traction they're getting. And it's crazy because we're on the inside, of the system, and we're looking at it from our perspective. And Jess and I, and there's a few of the fellas in here, we've been talking a lot about it, and with it, just basically just how we feel about the whole situation. And it's crazy because when something like this gets broadcast nationally, suddenly we have a lot to say. Right? Jess and I, we're like, you know what, man? What we say matters. We're minor celebrities now. I got them ostrich skin boots. Felipe got some fillers, got a BBL. So we're influencers now. We want to hear. We're really opinionated on the matter. But no, I'm just messing around on the other stuff. But realistically, right? Everybody knows what they came to prison for. It's no secret, and it's crazy that they've been in for 30 years as brothers. They did what they did at 18 years old, and they came to prison. Man, it's been since when they come in, just 89 or something?
Yeah, 89 they got busted.
89. So they've been incarcerated that long, and suddenly, when it seems like there's no hope, suddenly they're just all over the media. It's like a media blitz. They got big time celebrities. They got the George Gascon in L.A. and they're pushing for their release. So. A lot of us in here, we're kind of like, man, I mean, me personally, I think like, damn, at the end of the day, we got to give respect to the victims. There's two victims, and then there's one of them that might have been he might have been a weirdo, might have done some messed up stuff to them. And that's what's got a lot of us talking, is thinking like, damn, there's a lot of people in the system that were victims of childhood abuse, were victims of, all types of childhood abuse. And the prison system is full of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, not to take anything away from them, to take anything away from whatever it is they had experienced, because obviously I've been watching over the last 3 days and watching the first trial, the one that got the hung jury on. Some of that definitely helped me to empathize with them a little bit, and understand, what all they may have been going through. And like David said, prison is full of people, full of men who have experienced sexual abuse, physical abuse, psychological abuse, all kinds of abuse, and that's what shaped them. Essentially that's what we have to go to the board, and we have to be able to explain to the board how all those different degrees of abuse affected our development and shaped our thought process and shaped our emotional process, and ultimately drove us to committing, violent crimes, and so I like with their situation, it's just a little hard for me to wrap my head around, the kind of attention and the things that are going on right now, because it's basically like, okay, so what are you saying? Because these guys experienced this, that it excuses what they did, that they murdered both of their parents, right? So if that's the case, then everybody who's in prison that experienced some, extreme abuse, which there's many people, are you going to go back and are you going to revisit every last one of their cases and excuse them? Because regardless if it was the perpetrators of the abuse or somebody else, most violent offenders you have that saying, hurt people. And so most violent offenders are that way because of abuse that they experience, And so does that excuse every last one of us, from the heinous acts that we've committed? So
yeah.
It's a little hard for me. Like I can't. Not to say those guys don't deserve an opportunity to try to go to board and get out of prison one day, because and what you see on TV is not what it is. Them dudes, they've been in here acting like fools for a long time in here too. They've done their prison thing. But at the end of the day, they've done a lot of good things. But the reality of it is, where did they really come from? Where did they really come from? So there's just a lot going on. Like for me, there's a lot of ambivalence going on with this situation, because I understand their pain. I feel their pain. I get where they're coming from. But I don't understand what makes them any different than anybody else who's experienced that stuff. California passed the racial...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
That California passed the Racial Justice Act, to try to level the playing field between these marginalized communities and all those disparities in the justice system, involving black and brown, this and that, right? So the reality of it is that this is a prime example, though. That's a perfect example. Yes, their last name is Menendez, but they don't come from these marginalized communities. They don't come from these, these underprivileged communities. So it's just another example of how the justice system is not fair. It's slanted in a totally different direction. So for me, it's like, okay, they want to bring them into court today, and they want to they keep talking about, the abuse defense was not big back in '89, back then, and it is now, and okay, so you want to try them under today's standard. What about all the other people who were tried and convicted for crimes, for social norms, ideologies of what was a social norm back in '89, '90 when things were different? Why don't you bring all those guys back to trial today then and say, hey, let's see if we can get these guys, a little different justice based on the empathy level of America today, or California, or whatever it is, So it's just, and this is coming from somebody who's serving life in prison for committing a vicious murder, and so I'm not speaking from somebody who doesn't understand. I was a juvenile when I committed my crime, and I came from a life of extreme abuse. So I absolutely can understand and empathize where they're coming from, but also, what does this say about the justice system, and is it fair to the victims? Like the reality of it is, these dudes, if it was a crime of passion, there would have been a situation leading up to this that would have just blew the top. These were two grown men. These weren't boys. They weren't children. They were 19-year-old, adults according to the law, and they had one of them had actually moved out of the home already, and he made the decision to do this after he was pulled from the wheel, and then he pumped his little brother up. So it's just a slippery slope. So if they open up this Pandora's box and they give these guys relief, I'm not saying that they shouldn't get their LWOP sentences taken off. I don't agree with life without parole sentences anyways, but I do believe that I don't believe that the courts should be getting involved, and they should not be holding them to a standard of 2024 when you know what I mean? That you're going to have to do that for everybody. Anybody you convicted back then under an old theory or an old ideology or an old social norm, then they should get the same chance, because that's basically what they're saying. People didn't understand back then. People didn't this. And I do understand that their second trial, they didn't allow in evidence and information that they did allow in the first trial. And that in itself should have been enough to bring them back way back then. But here we are 30 years later. So if the Supreme Court didn't determine that it was malpractice, you know what I mean, or a miscarriage of justice, then why is public and social media, running this trial today. You know what I mean?
That's
And
crazy.
George Gascon being, and George Gascon being the liberal that he is, and he's doing great things for LA County. He's doing great things. He's giving people opportunities. He's giving people chances, and he's awesome. He's an awesome DA. But there has to be a standard though. Because at some point in time, I mean, for me, my biggest thing is, I'm not even so much worried about that they wouldn't be giving justice to people. My thing is like, what about the other people? Like you really have no legal standing for these guys. You're simply bringing them back into court and trying to give them a break on modern day sympathy and a modern day public trial. You know what I mean? Like it's not even, there is no legal standard for them. Because there was no legal standard in the courts back then.
Well, the legal basis that they're using, the standing they're trying to use is that information about the abuse was withheld from the jury. It wasn't allowed in. So that's their technicality. That's at least opening up the second look. And fortunately for them,
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
the people who are doing the looking, I think, are more. I think they're more, what is it, like predisposed to make a decision to pull them back.
Right. But okay, so that's the thing though. Right.
Hey, we're not done right here, Jake. We'll be right back.
Hey, and I want to read off on some of those messages when you guys call back in. Hey, so I want to ask you guys something. So I might be having a release soon. What kind of questions do you guys want me to ask? When I'm out there standing in front of the prison and that person's walking off the van, this will be somebody totally new. I haven't brought them on yet to share their story. I do have their story down. I just haven't put it out yet. So for those of you that tune in and like to watch, when people get released, he's been down for I think 19 or 20 years. What would you guys like to know? Ms. Vero puts, what are they feeling at the moment? All right. I got to write that down. Let me see. All right. Let me see.
Call is now being recorded. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Yeah. Did I even call the right number?
Yeah. You called the right number.
Hey, now me and Jess were right here shooting the breeze right now, right between the call. And sometimes I auto call my wife's number, and Jess does the same thing with his girl. Like where I'll just be talking, and then all of a sudden I'll be trying to call like moms or somebody, and I hear my wife's voice. It should be like, you called the wrong number, huh? She got some programs,
That's
right. Got some program.
What do you got, James?
All right,
yeah,
so
what you got for us?
So I got a comment from Jesse Aguilar, and he writes, "Tell them to work on their CGA, Criminals Gangsters Anonymous."
I swear that's what Jesse was just telling me right now. Yeah, I was just telling me right now that he had a spin on CGA that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what we do. That's what we do, man. I'm pretty good with CGA myself, so.
That's right.
Jesse, that was Jesse's gospel. That was Jesse's gospel right there. CGA gospel.
Yep, that's what he was just telling me right now. He was breaking that whole thing down on me when I thought I called the wrong number. Hey, he was giving me a recap, and I was mind blown. I was just auto dialing. I was like, man, that was deep.
And then let me see what they wrote. What else they wrote on here? So when you guys were talking about that social media, Marlene put social media. Yeah, when you guys were talking about them and social media, kind of deciding who should be let free or who should stay in. Let me see here.
Hey, well, social media. Go ahead and help out Jess and I. Yeah, go ahead and give us. Go ahead and give us a digital hand.
Yeah, give us a digital hand.
Yep. Yeah, for the viewers that don't know, Jess and I, we're both serving life sentences. We do have, we're not LWOP. Jesse's doing 25 to life. He's been in for 23 years. He's actually going to board in about a year and a half. Me, I got sentenced to 40 years to life. Initially 42 years, but I'm down to 40 years to life. I've only been in for 14 years. And what's crazy, I say only, been in for 14 years, but I have a previous stay in prison starting in 2000, so I have over 25 years in the system. And yeah, so we're trying to, I go to board in 2031 right now, just on a elderly parole. And that's it. That's what we got.
Hey, and we also got
definitely not the Menendez brothers.
we also got Thumper in here, and she writes.
Thumper, what's up?
Yeah, she's in the chat for sure.
That's
and she
cool,
said,
man.
"Thumper
We
la."
were just talking about Thumper.
Thumper la pepper spray.
Go ahead.
David called me that the last
La
time.
pepper spray. Yep. I remember.
That's right.
That's cool. Oh, hey, glad you're back, Thumper.
Right now, I was asking them when I was waiting for you guys to call back. I was asking them what kind of questions they would like me to ask if they had the opportunity to ask somebody that's coming home from prison. I told them that I might be out there, hopefully this week, and so I wanted to pick their minds, and find out what kind of questions they want me to ask.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's great. Because a lot of the listeners, or a lot of the viewers, they could be they could have ties to somebody in here, and they may want to see what that's going to be like, being there with their loved one when they get out for the first time after many years. Hopefully you'll be fortunate in the next few days to pick up one of the fellas right here and maybe
it's crazy how many lifers, like when we say the term lifers, for those of you that don't know, that just means that we got a L, like we have an indeterminate sentence. So when we get sentenced in California, I'm pretty sure it's probably the same in other states, but California specifically, we get sentenced. They gave me 15 to life plus 25 to life, which means that they can hold me. That's my base term, or my minimum. It would be, a total of 40 years, because they ran it consecutive, and then to life means that they can hold me for the rest of my life. So I'm not even supposed to go to board until I've been in for 40 years. But they did this laws have changed. I'm 43 years old, and so in 2031 I'll be 50, and I'll have 21 in. So they say I'm eligible for consideration. And it's crazy. I don't look 43. I'm in a can. I look about 23. Look about 20.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I feel 23. But yeah, so that's how that works. So it's crazy that the boy that's leaving right now, I mean, he just got found suitable. Mm-hmm. He was a lifer. He was sentenced to a minimum, I forget what he had, minimum, but
I think it was 15 to life.
And yeah, 15 to life.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy that I got my 25 to life ran. We call it bow-legged, ran consecutive. I got a 25 to life added to my 15 to life because I used a firearm in the commission of a crime. I'm here for 187. So in California, they say you use a gun, you're done. And that's what they do. So they're trying to roll that back right now, because let's face it, a lot of guys are changing, and that's why the topic about the Menendez brothers came up. It's something that we discussed, because we've been in here putting in a lot of work for the good. We were putting in a lot of work before for the bad, and now we're walking the walk. We're college students. We're trying to we're living upright direction, and it's not easy in prison. We have there's a lot of suffering in here. There's a lot of dysfunction in here. There's a lot of trauma walking around, masked in tough guy tattoos and stuff like that. But there's just a lot of hurt people walking around here, and sometimes it's difficult to do the right thing. And we found a way around it. We found a way to do it, and we're putting in the work to go home. We're studying our CGA. We're studying our we're programming properly so that we can go home and we can be productive citizens of society. So we don't have people other than our loved ones advocating for us, people that know us personally advocating for us and shining a light on, hey, well, these guys, look at these guys. These guys are college. These are college students. We're working on multiple degrees. Jesse and I, we should have probably about 5 college degrees within the next 6 months. The way we're going, and we're both signed up to be enrolled. We have a bachelor's program here for San Diego State University, so we're going to be university students. We have years clean, but nobody knows about people like us unless, James, you brought us to the world. We were just our loved ones, other than that, we were just here, just doing our time, letting decades go by, and you brought us to the world. But it's crazy that we're not the only ones. There's a group of us in here, and this is across California. Every yard has a good number of people that are living their life just like we are. We're not getting into, incidents. We're not committing violence. We're not using, substances no more. We're not doing any of those things, and we're succeeding in college. But nobody's ever going to know our names unless someone like you, James, comes and brings us to the world. And I guess it caused like a sore spot because the people who are known in the system, we hear about them. The system's pretty small. We know especially the yards, the way that the yards are.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
The way the yards are carved up because of politics and whatnot, like a lot of people talk in prison. And so none of the things that I've ever heard about those guys has been good, A lot of stuff has come down the wire, like we'd have like some of the fellas that would be up in institutions with one or the other brother, and I would ask about them, throughout the years. I'd be like, oh, you're up there with that fool? They'd be like, yeah, I know him, this is, that fool's doing this, that fool's doing that. And I'm not trying to put his business out there or anything like that, because people do change. So maybe things that he was doing around, those people at that time isn't who he is today. Or maybe he was going through a tough time. I mean, being what he was in here for, maybe the time. So I don't want to take nothing away from those guys, but I see so many people here that are putting in the work that are, man, these guys are stand-up dudes, man, stand-up individuals, and they'll never see the light of day. There's some that I don't want to say never say never, but there's a good possibility that some of the guys that are programming the best here will never get out of prison in their life. And it sucks. It's sad to see. We have they emptied San Quentin out recently. I'm sure they still have some people in there, but San Quentin is death row. So because they put a moratorium on death penalty in California, they've been filtering the death row guys onto these yards, and our yard actually has a good majority of people from death row, and these guys are condemned. They are death row inmates or incarcerated people, but they're here on the yard with us. They're our neighbors. They live around us, and I actually hang out with a few of them. And it's crazy because I'm talking to these guys, I'm chilling with them, and I'm having these just good conversation with these dudes. And there's a guy that he was on death row for almost 30 years. He was up there for a long time. He's a cool dude, man. Gray hair. I think he's a Christian, and this guy has been out of trouble for. When's the last time you think homeboy got in trouble?
He's never been written up.
Never been written up, and the dude's been in prison. I mean, he's got to be close to 30 years in prison.
Yeah, he's been down for over 30 years.
Yeah.
He's been in prison since '96.
And he was in death row the whole time up there, and it's crazy that this dude is a good dude. He's a cool guy. Every time I see him in the yard, man, he's nothing but smiles, handshakes, and he's not the guy that came into prison. He's not that dude, I can tell you right now. He's just, man, he's already going to be level 2. And that's crazy, low level, but he is condemned if they were to start their executions or however they do it. Yeah, he's up.
But you say all that to say basically that he's just another person in prison who I'm sure has experienced something, but it doesn't excuse his action.
What he did.
You can't, unless it's a crime of passion that was immediately in that moment connected to the abuse. I don't think, because I personally have to go into the board and explain to them how my abuse shaped me to the kind of person that I was. And if I don't explain it properly, if I can't connect the dots properly, if I can't show them how I slowly evolved into a murderer, and how, my life's experiences shaped my distorted perspective of the world and my distorted perspective, my distorted belief system, and show them how I developed all these character flaws that ultimately justified in my mind at that point in my life to commit murder when I was 17 years old.
Yep.
Then they're not going to let me out of prison. They don't care what I've been through. I have Franklin review. I have Franklin, hearings. I have all kinds of things. Just like and I'm nowhere near, been through half the stuff that some of these guys been through. Some of these guys been through, but they're not going to get an opportunity to go to the court and say, hey, court, you know what, And the way they're talking about the Menendez thing is like that it's just going to be given back to the DA, and the DA is going to make some decision that, we'll just cut them this deal. What do you mean cut them this deal? You know what I mean? Like they gave these men knife it out. What you should do is follow the law, and the law says because you withheld this evidence that could have contaminated, that could have persuaded the jury to find them. No, you send them back to trial, and if a jury of their peers decides that, hey, you know what, we believe, and it's already happened once. It's already happened. They got a hung jury one time. Let them get that hung jury again if that's what it is, and then you offer them what you think is. But the reality of it is they should get an opportunity to go to board and present themselves. They can't set the standard for society to just say, oh, they've been through some things and we should cut them loose because they did their time. Because if that's the case, then do away with the BPH process, and all of us that you feel have done their time, and you could look at paper. We shouldn't have to go in and express ourselves and explain ourselves. If you look it on paper, okay, these guys are doing pretty good. We're going to let them out of prison, because what they're going to do is they're going to set a new standard. And me personally, anybody that's fighting that Racial Justice Act, I would use that as an example of like, this is what it looks like when you don't come from where these guys come from. You don't come from money.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Hello? Oh, I think we might have lost him.
Something horrible.
Okay, you're back.
Oh, you're okay. Well, it said the 60 seconds anyway, so
yeah.
I'll give you a call back, all right?
Okay, all right.
Any more comments either, Dave?
Yeah, I do. I got.
Let us know the comments when we come back.
I got some, that I'm going to read out to you
back.
right now. All right. And so for those of you that are new here, this is David and Jesse. They are Celis. They're currently being housed at Centinela State Prison, which is in the Valle Imperial or Imperial Valley. If you want to listen to their backstories or their journeys, if you jump over to our other platform, which you see right above me, type that in, and then at Collect Call From, and go to the playlist and type in. Look up Jesse and David.
This call is now being
Esta
recorded.
es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
People on base?
What's up?
Yeah, they have 3 people on base. 3 people on base. New York just picked up 3 runs.
Oh, yeah, we got the game on right now. Hey, okay, so before you get to the comments, but I was just saying that, look, I think the biggest fear that we have is that they're going to let out the wrong person. And that's the problem. That's why I support the board process, because the recidivism rate for people who go through the board, man, that means the people who come back to prison, man, it's like 1%.
Less than 1%.
Yeah, less than 1% of people that get out with a life sentence come back. The recidivism rate for people who don't go to board, it was almost like in the 90s, man, like 90%. Right. Like you were basically over 90% coming back for sure. And it's because the amount of work you have to put in to get found suitable for parole, the board is not going to let you out there paid excellent money to weed out the bullshit. Yeah. And, they monitor the way that you are in prison. If you break the rules, if you do things that you're not supposed to be doing, they're going to call you out on it. And
that's not to say that the Menendez brothers haven't done their part also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where they're at today. I know where they were 10 years ago. I know what they were doing a while back.
I heard them about 10 years ago or something.
Right,
when
right.
I asked about it.
And it, you know, it was no different than a lot of the other shenanigans everybody else was doing in prison. But, yeah, so not to say they haven't done their part to earn their freedom and, you know, ultimately be given another chance.
Yep.
But that's just part of the process, and I don't think they should water down that standard anymore. My thing is, if you're not going to give that equal protection to everybody, what makes their situation any different than 75% of the people who are in prison for murders?
Yep.
You know, and then they're not even people that murdered both of their parents.
Yep. And the thing is,
and got away with it for 6 months. If it was a crime of passion and it was something like that, you're not going to go to such elaborate extents to get away with it, to hide out, and then just turn around and go ham.
And that's what we think, coming from the side of people that, you know, because Jesse and I, we do have blood on our hands. We know what that thought process is.
Yep.
You know, and that's the crazy part. But I just worry that because public opinion is so strong and it seems to be driving policy, as soon as one of these freaking, you know, they let out the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's them, but they let out the wrong person. They do something horrendous. Public opinion is going to shift very fast, and it's going to shift on social media. It's going to shift in the polls. It's going to shift everywhere, and there's going to be public pressure put on. And guess what? The doors are going to slam in our face.
Yep.
We're not going to be able to get a chance to go home. And guess what? I do have a life sentence. CDCR can hold me for the rest of my life. I'll fall dead on a yard somewhere. That's going to be my parole.
Our big cheddar.
Yep. Yeah. No, and we've seen it. Yep.
Yeah.
I seen a dude get slid down the stairs. Fell dead. He paroled that day. He was done. You know, yep. It happens. And that's the scary part. It's like, man, if something goes wrong, I need the board to make sure they're letting the right people out. Yeah. And if the courts let these guys out because of public opinion, and guess what, man? Something bad happens, they're going to slam the door right in our face. We were right about, you know, we should have kept these guys away to throw away the key, because that's what they were doing before. They will do it. It does happen. So yeah, it's an issue, man. It's a scary thought, you know. Yeah. But
and that's where the problem lies with the situation with these guys. It's like, okay, you're giving these people, you're giving these two men something you haven't given to anybody else before, and you're not giving to anybody else. Do you want to set that standard? Because what that's going to do is that's going to give a lot of people something to make an issue about, because there's all kinds of people in prison that can make the same argument as they
yeah.
And
yeah, I'm going to court soon, you know, and I do have things in my history that I could bring up, you know, and this is the thing, James, like, I don't want anybody to think, well, hey, well, we're not taking responsibility for why we're in prison. Jess and I, we wholeheartely take responsibility for why we're in prison. If I was to spend the rest of my life in here, then that's going to be a consequence of the things that I was doing before, of who I was. And that's something that, like I said, that's something that I have to do. I have to be okay with. You know, it doesn't mean that I'm going to revert back to who I was then, but that's a very real possibility. They could say, you know what, man, we've let enough of these lifers out. We've let enough of these guys that have, you know, taken lives before, and we're going to go ahead and pull back, and we're going to see how this is going to play out, and we're going to put a hold to everything. And that's something that I'm going to have to deal with. And it's scary to think, you know, that there's no more light at the end of the tunnel, but you know, I was living the way I was living before. What did I think was going to happen? You know, there's a lot of guys in here, James. You'd be surprised, man. They're in here crying about their time, and oh my gosh, and I can't believe it. You know, my kids need me, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, you were just talking about. You know what I'm saying? There was a guy that was in here, and he's still here, and he was talking about, dude, I whacked 18 people, and I did. I was doing this, and I was working for these fools, and I was running this, and I was doing that. But he's crying because they put barbecue pits in the family visiting. They don't have them up and running yet. And every time I happen to be around this dude, he's complaining about something, and he's like, man, you know, the barbecue pits are still not up and running yet, and you know, I just want to have that experience with my kids. You know, I just want to barbecue with my kids before they get too old. And I'm just sitting here thinking, you know, I'm like, damn, like
worried about that. You'd be barbecuing on the street.
Yeah, you didn't you just say you hit 18 people? Yeah. You're suspected of 9 187s. You're doing double LWOPs right now. Like, where was the
Where were your kids?
where was
at
the
then?
thought process then about your kids? You know, you need to man up and do your time, Holmes. You know, and that's just and I don't use Holmes very lightly. When I say man up and do your time, Holmes, like I'm at my wit's end, James. That's when I have different personalities. You know, that's something that I've come to realize. You know, I have Pintero, Pintero Dave. That's when I'm looking at him and I just run my freaking palm comb through my whip. You know what I mean? I'm just like, is that right? That's Pintero. That's Pintero Dave. Yeah, you know, and
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
that's when I just go by D. You know. Yeah, there's college student Dave. I'm very studious. I got all the pens in my front pocket.
The Revenge of the Nerds pocket protector.
Yeah, you know, metrosexual Dave. You know what I mean? Where I'm all lined up.
Yeah. Go ahead though, James. Hey James, what you got for us? I hear you over there.
Oh man, you guys got me cracking up over here. But on another note, Thumper, you know, she put a comment maybe about 20 minutes ago, and man, she's definitely going through it right now. She put tell him to keep me in prayer, and her son Andres passed away October 15.
Oh man, sorry to hear that, though.
That sucks.
Yeah,
That sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, that sucks.
Sure, that's a crazy thing to have to deal with right there.
You know, you're in our prayers, man. You're in our thoughts and you're in our prayers.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep your head up.
For sure.
That's sad to hear.
Yeah.
And then
what else you got for us, James?
I saw the last man just snuck in a message right now. You see, he puts what young homies. God bless you guys.
Hell, Ice, man.
Nice man.
What's up?
That's right. It's always good to have the Iceman here.
Yep, that's the boy right there.
Yeah.
Nah, we're right here just posted. This is same old with us. You know, we got locked down today. We've been in the South kicking back, just knocking out some homework. You know, I got a lot of homework right now, James. It's ridiculous, man.
Man, you know, speaking of homework, I gotta I've been dragging my feet over here. I gotta renew my license with the state. I got about 11 more days. I gotta do some modules, and I always do
Esta
this.
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I do this every 2 years when I gotta renew my license. I always wait till the last moment, so I'll probably crunch it out maybe like a few days before I need to get it done.
I still don't know what it is exactly that you do. I think you've probably told me before, but I'm just yeah. The fact that you have that you're licensed is even more. It's got me more like, you know, scratching my head. You know, like, man, what does he do? And the funny part is, it's come up a bunch of times. Right? You know, they're like, hey, what did that fool do? I'm like, hey, I don't know. Hey, the funny part is, I like the mystery. Like, if you were to tell me what you do, I'd probably be like, man, you know, like, really? Realistically, like, we should have, you know, hey, my freaking Pintero D, I'll just run the palm comb through my roast and be like, oh, is that right? He's probably like a freaking paparazzi or something, I imagine.
Man, I would love to do something like that. Would I have a large
TMZ,
yeah.
That'd be funny. You got some crazy jobs.
Hey,
But, it's cool, man.
I got a good a positive message right here from Gangster Sotel, and he writes, let me see, been a longtime supporter of empowering another homie. Get out of that zoo. Let me see, a lot of good people doing time for misled and misinformation or misinformed at such a young age. 100%.
It's true, and that's the crazy part. I tell people all the time, right? They ask, well, you know, how did you get into to a gang and, you know, stuff like that? But man, I was misled. I didn't know what I was getting into. You know, I had no clue. Like, you're kicking it with homies, and the lifestyle of you know, when I grew up in the, you know, I'm an 80s baby, so I grew up in the 90s. I came of age in the 90s, and, you know, that's when gangster rap started coming out pretty tough, and I liked it. I liked lowriders. I liked wearing big clothes. there's something about that always attracted me to it. You know, the sound of like the voice, you know, that angry voice. And I didn't know that I was angry. You know, I didn't know that I was angry, but I was an angry kid. And I was I was kind of an introvert when I was younger. I got into a lot of trouble, but I kept things to myself. I didn't really want to talk about a lot of things, but there's something about that music, them hard beats, and hearing the, you know, the cussing that was really like, it was really attractive to my young mind, you know. And the powers that be, like the people that were there to protect me, they weren't paying attention that I was actually engaging in that, you know. And so when I got around the homies, I didn't know what that was. I seen people that accepted me. I had issues with acceptance and whatnot, you know. And when they embraced me, I didn't know what that entailed. I never thought twice where they're like, oh, well, this dude, they're always doing something. Like young little cholos are always up to something bad. You know, if they're not breaking somebody's window or writing on a wall or stealing markers from stores or, you know, they're just, you know, the young little cholos, always up to something, huh?
Always up to something. Got the 44 gauge marker in their pocket.
Yep, there's always a big old fat marker, and I knew about flared markers and all this stuff when I was younger, and, you know, the Cortez and all the different shoes and stuff like that, but you're always fighting somebody, always fighting the other kids, and you don't really trip on it. It just seems like that's your normal. Before you know it, you know, like I made a decision to join a gang at 13 years old, and it's crazy that I stuck with that same stupid decision most of my life. I was still behaving like a 13-year-old when I was in my 30s. You know, and that's just madness to think about. You know, that's why what he said, it resonated with me a lot. You know, I was thinking like, man, you're so misinformed when you're a kid, and then we start to, you know, come to prison, and I started in the juvenile system. Coming to prison, you start seeing these gang leaders, and you get like enchanted by them, and I just don't understand it. Like, where does that enchantment come from? Maybe the movies, pop culture. You know, you start seeing stuff, and maybe by then we've known that our life is freaking pretty much going to be this. You know, once you come to prison, you're no longer going to be an astronaut. You're not going to be licensed like James.
Hey, you know what? Right now that you mentioned a movie, hey, American Me, that movie did it for me. Once I saw that Gava get bent over that sack of potatoes or whatever, that sack of whatever it was, I was like, that's it.
The rice. Yeah.
I was like, prison's not for me. I can't do it. I can't, like my daughter says, I can't do it. No way.
I can't do it.
Man. See, and me, the crazy part is I was the one walking around with a big old bag of ice over my shoulder. You know, a big old bag of rice over my shoulder. Who's tripping? Who's tripping? Anybody got problems?
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Okay, when are the girls getting here? I got some fresh rice.
Yeah. We saw that very differently.
Yeah.
I got to do whatever I can not to be the guy with the face in the rice, but you know.
Yeah, I'll be sure not to do whatever it is he did.
Whatever he did, I'm not going to do. You know what I mean? But I got some rice just in case anybody else is cooking.
Yeah. You're not lying. You're not lying though, because I seen that movie totally opposite.
Yeah,
that
completely
movie,
different.
Movie drove me to want to come
I wanted to lose my leg and still play handball. Hey, I'm gonna call back right now.
All right.
I'm gonna call back.
Oh man, let me read some of the comments. Elias, man, he wrote all good here, and then he wrote little puppet. Let me see, Giant 89 Crusher, that's crazy. Miss Vero, love that movie. Let me see, not the Baker. Let me see, Giant 89 Crusher put, I bet it's dangerous inside. Gracias, mama. Gracias. Let me see. ¿Qué pasó, mamá? Bye, mamá.
Esta es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada
This call is
preparada
now
de
being recorded.
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
Cinco.
Gracias por utilizar Global Link.
Hello, hello.
Hello?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up, James?
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
Cinderella.
and I swear I was just thinking that right now. And the funny part, he was like, "Oh yeah, Cinderella," and that's blood in, blood out, right? And I'm telling you, right, the funny part is that's what I knew. Like when I came to prison, I realized like, oh shit, I don't know what to do in prison. Oh, I tell him we said goodnight. Yeah, when I first walked into a prison yard, I was like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, so you're telling
when I
me
was young.
you're telling me that song didn't come on the handball when they're playing handball in the halls and then they transition over to
Damn, I
prison.
think the
It
thing
wasn't
cut
like
out.
that.
Hold on, James. We lost you.
Yep.
Hello.
Man, this thing sucks, man. I hope it don't start messing up. Always
Yeah,
around this time too.
yeah. So right now, whoever's wondering what's
Yeah, we
happening
still
right
can't
now,
hear you.
GTL sometimes,
This is a good
or
one,
a
too.
lot of the
Can't probably
times,
keep us on right now.
their phones start tripping. So
Oh, you're
that's
back?
you
Hey.
yeah,
Hey, could you hear us?
yeah. I can hear you now. Yep. Yeah. So,
No, so what song?
is it Shotgun? When they're playing handball. Yeah, when they're playing in the
Yep,
halls.
From
Yep.
Yeah, right there in Los Padrinos or whatever.
Yeah.
Central.
It was. I think it was Los Padrinos, or probably said.
Yeah,
Was it?
Central.
Central.
What was
Central.
it? What's the other one?
Yeah.
Fillmore. That's what I was thinking. No. The thing is, so yeah, those things. Like I don't know what it was when I seen those movies. It's crazy. When I came to prison, I felt like I knew this place. It's insane how those movies can like influence a young mind. Because when I walked onto the yard, I was like, man, first thing I did was, I just left the top 3 buttons buttoned. I left the bottom part open. I don't wear my clothes like that on the street. I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? Like I had 3 buttons buttoned, the rest of it going, and all of a sudden my pants are a little higher. You know what I mean? My freaking, all of a sudden I want to slick my hair back. Man, I'm a nerd, man. I wear my hair to the side. But it's crazy because you come to prison, you kind of just acclimate to the environment. You cruise around, and I was a gang member. I was a little knucklehead and all that, but it's just something about prison. It just made me a little bit more like cautious, and it amplified everything. And it was just nuts. So you fall in with your homeboys and kind of just do what you got to do. But I wanted to put in work, and that's another thing. I always like scratch my head and I think like, what made me think to want to go to the hole? I wanted to be in the hole when I was young. I went to the hole at I came in at 18 years old, and I went to the hole by 19. I turned 19 at reception, and it's crazy that I don't know what. I just wanted to go to the hole. I wanted to see what it was like. And it's nuts to think about. Yeah.
You know what? So the halls and county jail had a reverse effect on me. So as soon as I got there, I wanted to leave. So I was trying to, when I was in county, I tried to apply for everything. OR, house arrest after I got sentenced, county parole, everything. I was trying to get out, and you guys were doing the
Esta
opposite
llamada
thing.
y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
You guys are doing the opposite. You guys are trying to get to the shoe and pack up the Gucci or the trunk.
Pack up the Gucci. Oh, the prison
The
wallet.
duffel bag, yeah.
Hey, I will tell you right now, I wasn't too interested in packing the prison wallet. I wasn't like, but it was. I was like, when I first like concept like crossed my path, I was like, wait, you do what? Like, what do you mean? I got to take all this. How the hell am I supposed to take this? I can't carry this in my hand. Well, you're going to the hole. You signed up. Like, yeah, I signed up. I signed up to put in highway.
Hey,
they're like, yeah, but this is a part of the highway.
Hey, that's what happens. Hey,
like,
that's what happens when you don't read the fine print.
The fine print. Hey,
Yeah.
that fool. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, James. When the first time there was something that was cracking, right, and I was going to the hole for sure, and they're like, all right, well, we need you to bring something to the homies back there, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm thinking, well, like, I never gave it a thought, like, bring it to the homies, and these fools came up and they damn near handed me a flashlight of tobacco, you know what I mean? That sucker looked like a mag light. And I was like, yeah, I'm not, what do you want me to do? I can't carry this, they're like, hey, why is that wrapped up in plastic, Jess?
He had to pick that flashlight out in a photo lineup later because he got victimized.
Hey, Yeah, no, that's the insanity of the whole thing. You know, you think about it. You watch a movie like Blood In, Blood Out, right? And you think like the fool with the way he tried to do Miklo, right? Oye, it's Miklo from Mario, you know. And I think like, damn, like that fool tried to just straight take Miklo. Fool tried to take his shit, you know, like right there on the spot, you know. And it's like, damn, like that's your homie right there, you know. That's not what you know. So when I met Felipe for the first time, I was like, damn, I hate to be Felipe, you know. I'm a little bigger than him, so I'm gonna win this one.
hey, Thumper, Thumper put something out here. She said David was always the first one on top of the class, raising his hand before it was even asked who wanted to do it.
Well, that was after the first mag light. Hey, they're like, man, this little homie wants to put in all kinds of highlight. You know what I mean? You're gonna be somebody one day, little homie.
He was like, I wasn't thinking about highlight. I was just seeing if you guys
like,
your tobacco around the yard.
They're like, damn, this fool gets out and goes right back. What the? Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but it's what's crazy though is those portrayals though. That I don't know if you remember, James, when all that stuff was going on in L.A. when they had Edward James almost green-lighted and they killed that chick.
Yep. And Hazard, how they got her in Hazard.
Yeah, and Hazard and all that stuff. But that's the reason why all that stuff happened, because they portrayed them dudes as being gay. You know, they put all that stuff in there. And not to say that people weren't doing weird stuff back then, you know what I mean? But that was a dynamic that wasn't, you know what I mean, that wasn't, because a lot of that movie had factual basis, you know. The Blood In, Blood Out was just like a low budget version of
that was super low budget.
Yeah, super low budget. But they but that's what caused all that trouble right there. They weren't tripping that they had put all their business out there, because all that stuff that they put out there was already known information. What they were tripping about was because of that part right there. They hit
Remember when Miklo tried to get close to the white gang leader? Like he could take him out, and I was like,
Big Al?
I was like, damn, that fool got real close to Big Al. You know what I mean? Like he's on his knees. He's even like stroking it a couple times. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like you got him comfortable already. You know what I mean?
Now looks like
like, oh, that's unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like that's a good plump. It's a good grip right there. You got.
When it was a kung fu grip, huh?
Yeah, you fucking whacked away afterwards. I was like, damn, Felipe.
Yeah.
Hey, yep, James bounced out of us. Yep, the thing cut out again. Yeah.
Hey, but you know, hey, look.
Hey,
out of the both of the movies,
like 10 minutes later.
Hey, out of the both of the movies, I prefer Bound by Honor, Blood In, Blood Out. Then I had to choose between the both. My favorite would be Blood In, Blood Out.
Was it? Why?
Yeah. You know what? I think
like the artwork.
I think for me it was Popeye. That fool was funny. He was a character. You know, like a lot of the lines that he said, man, a lot of people use him, you know, like amongst my friends and stuff like that. So, you know, I really don't. We really didn't use any of the lines for American Me that much. But you know, when it came to Blood In, Blood Out, it had.
A little too serious.
Yeah. It was a lot more serious. You know, Popeye, you know, with or when the cousin ended up becoming a cop, and then they went to that one. They were trying to buy some dope, and then that one chick she grabs him, and she's like, watch, and then he tells her like, hey, watch the chorizo. And there's just like certain things. Or
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Or when Popeye calls, he calls and he snitches out.
Black guys, you want to bust dope dealers? There's someone here that talks just like that too, huh? Big Rob talks like that.
Yeah,
some dude here that talks like that.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, James, because there's a grip of lines from that movie that I use all the time, like clowning around. I've always used them for years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the one where he's like tres puntos like Spider.
Or the one about the pork chop when he tells him that I don't want his pork chop, I want his life.
Yeah. And he's like, sorry, Pedro, no tortillas.
Hey, you know what? I got a sticker of that one. I got a sticker of Big Al saying sorry, no tortillas. I'm gonna shoot it to you guys.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I'll be using that shit when foods be asking me for stuff in here, and I'll be like, sorry, Pedro, no tortillas.
Hey,
remember when he went up to the top tier, they just swung him off the side of the tier?
Santana?
No, I think that was Blood In, Blood Out. No, that's Miklo. Didn't they get him off the tier? No, Santana, they got him off the tier at the end.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning, when that fool walked into the tier, Miklo, and he went over with the Raza, I think, or I don't know, I think it might have been
and they were just holding him.
Hanging over the tier.
Yeah.
They were just holding him upside down, and he was like, I don't care, blah, blah. He did like a big old,
Yeah, I made a big old pancho.
Yeah.
What are we going to say right now, James?
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I don't remember him getting thrown off, but I remember them, messing with him and keeping him, over the railing, but not throwing him.
No, I think you were gonna say something about Ms. Vero or something.
Oh yeah, Ms. Vero said, she said, okay, I have to watch that movie now.
Hey, don't be letting us influence you.
Let me find out she started her own game.
Yeah.
And we got to see Ms. Vero. She came to visit right here.
She got to see us.
Me and Dave were both in the visiting room when she came.
Got to see us in the flesh.
I was like,
I didn't know that was her though.
Yeah, I told my Shelly afterwards.
I was like, I don't know who that is.
Hey, and that's cool though. That's awesome that she got to make it down here. But yeah, if you're gonna me personally, I always used a lot of the lines from that movie just because it was a tacky ass movie.
Yeah.
And there was like exactly like you said, James. There was just like all kinds of like zingers in there that we used to clown around with because it was so not realistic. You know what I mean? So like a lot of that shit was just like, man, fools don't talk like that. Like, you know what I mean? But for me, it was definitely American Me played a major part in my life for sure.
Hey, do you remember in the movie when they pulled that cop? I think that was his cousin or his homie or something.
Yeah.
When he pulled him out, he went to the prison to pull him out.
Yeah.
And he was like standing there by the cage, and he was all chained up, and he was like a super gang leader, and they was like stop the violence or trying to negotiate with them. And it's crazy because I've been in a situation just like that, and I thought about that moment where I was standing out front, and they put me in a little they had like a little like in the shoe they have a lot of cages everywhere. And they actually like pulled me out before, and they were just like, we need to fix what's going on, to try to negotiate, and it's crazy. And I thought about that moment. I was like, damn, I'm Miklo. I'm sitting there full of chains. I'm in like a cage in a cage, and they're like out front trying to negotiate, like freaking, we need you to fix this, we need to stop the violence around here and stuff like that. I was like, damn, that thought process came to my mind.
You did it. You made it.
Well, and that's the crazy part is I thought about that and I was like, damn, this ain't cool. And there was, and the funny part is there was times where like, stuff was popping, man, it was cracking and stuff. And, I was in charge of certain things in here, but the fact of the matter is I couldn't stop it and they didn't understand that, If something came down and it was something that was like kind of widespread in the institution, that wasn't coming from me. I was just basically a messenger, and they would try to like go to who they could to try to like negotiate and do stuff, but you kind of just had to like hear them out or, just, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you, do what you got to do, That would usually, the one time they pulled me out like that, there was like a mass cell extraction, and they wanted to try to like fix it, the issue and stuff, and by that point though, it's already too late,
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Right now,
those are the old days. I don't even think they do that anymore.
Right now, when you guys call back, I'm gonna read off a few more comments here. I got a comment from Thumper, and then I got another comment from Gangster Sotel. So I'll read those off right now when you guys call back.
Hey, there's no like little things. You know how they could throw hearts and things like that, like on the and like little crying tears and stuff. There's no little there's no little filter for throwing rice.
Nay, we might have to make one.
A little rice emoji.
When somebody acts up, we'll just hit them with rice. You know what I mean? You get like a bad comment or something. I'm gonna call back right now.
All right. Oh, Miss Vero found the rice bowls. All right. All right. So yeah. So like I was saying earlier on, I wrote I'm gonna memorize some of those questions that you guys asked me to ask. Let me see right here. I gotta take this down because if not, then I'll forget. But yeah, so this week definitely. I'm not sure what day it's gonna be. I'm still waiting to find out when they're gonna get released. As soon as I figure out when they're gonna be coming home, then I'm gonna make my way down there. So definitely be ready for have your alerts ready to go, so you guys are able to
This call is now
capture
being
that
Este
release.
es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
James, what's up?
Yeah. So okay. So let me see right here. Oh, so Thumper writes, my role model, was growing up was Sad Girl and Giggles from La Vida Loca.
Oh my God! I swear to God, I know that whole movie. I got it memorized. I know exactly what you're talking about. Hey, remember when Suavecito, when they were like, they had Suavecito at the end? Yeah, remember the truck?
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, that movie set me off too.
I never
I
seen.
was like trying to get my mom to move to Echo Park.
I've never seen it before.
How dare you,
What?
Dumper?
I have
Throw
not
some
seen
rice
it.
at him. Do something. I don't have that app.
Yeah, hit him with a rice.
With the rice, yeah.
Yeah, hit
Hey,
him with the
Hey,
rice.
I cannot believe you haven't seen.
I was
La
too
Vida
poor
Loca.
growing up. We couldn't go to the movie theater.
That movie was so poor.
None of these movies that we're talking about that I see in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I used to literally carry around the American Me videos, the VHS cassette.
Just looking for a VCR how to plug it into.
Yeah.
Yep.
I shit you not. I used to take.
That's poor right there.
Yeah, I used to take.
I don't know. Let people a VHS cassette of American Me, and I'm looking for a VCR. I don't want much. I don't need food. I don't need water.
This is how lost. So this is how lost. We were back then. That literally the homies would be like, "Hey, bring the tape over." Like we literally would watch that movie over and over. American Me. I used to have a Dickie jacket that I used to carry around. I used to keep the tape in my Dickie.
My homie, I still remember.
In middle school.
I still remember me and my homie Chris used to watch that movie a lot. We had the whole thing memorized.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's funny because when we were watching that movie, those were the years when like Kid Frost was out.
Yeah.
You know, Kid Frost was like,
For La Raza.
yeah, that was out during that time, and then Gangster Lean from DRI,
Yeah.
that was still around. You know.
Hey, so think about it. So what do you think it is exactly? I have an idea, and I'm pretty sure you do. But what do you think it is that attracted? Because there's no way that some 12 and 13-year-old kids could truly understand the magnitude of what was going on in those movies in that prison and stuff like that. But what do you think it was that attracted us to that movie so much?
I think I got run over by a Regal when I was like 6 years old.
Knock something loose.
Yeah, I got run over by a Primer Regal, you know what I mean, when I was 6, you know what I mean? I didn't remember the incident, but after that time, you know.
Every single thing you were all about America.
I was all about, yeah. Yeah, about my honor, yeah. La Vida Loca. Hey, you know what? And that's crazy because I wonder the same. I do wonder that, though. I wonder that's like, damn, you know, like what? Out of all the things, you know, like all the influences and everything like that, like that's what most attracted me. And I do equate violence in the home. I do equate that with, I want to say with my aggression, my inner turmoil, and they satisfied it. You know, like honestly, I was the oldest. I was the oldest sibling, so I didn't have an older brother. You know, I had people older family members and stuff like that, but my brotherly figure, the older kids in my neighborhood, they were all gang members. They were all cholos. You know, where I grew up at, I lived in La Puente, on the border of La Puente, West Covina, till I was till high school, pretty much till I moved out there, met you guys, you know. And the crazy part is like that's all that was really around. You know, there was everybody those were the years where us as kids, we could just roam the streets.
Hey, David.
You know, the parents had no problem. Yeah.
And what year was it that you moved out of La Puente?
96, 95.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I had a homie that moved out
94.
there.
Yeah, 94, 94.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, I moved out there 94.
I,
Yep.
I I had a homie, my good friend. I met him. When I used to live by downtown LA, and his family, they moved him from LA to try to get him off, out of the streets. They moved him to Eagle Rock, and they ended up landing in La Puente. And
Yeah.
coming from LA, because we would catch the bus up there, and La Puente was a whole different world. Like, to us, La Puente wasn't dangerous compared to where the area that we grew up in. We were able to roam the
Yeah.
streets without having to worry about getting hit up and stuff like that. Because in LA,
Yeah.
the neighborhood we came from, like every other neighborhood was a
Yeah.
neighborhood. In La Puente, it was like, man, you could roam
Yeah.
around freely, and nobody was messing with you, except maybe the cops. Like, if somebody would call the cops on you, but other than that, man, it was a nice area to live in.
It all depends on where you were at, and the thing is that that pretty much goes from everywhere. But
Yeah.
so when I moved from there in '94, but I had been back, like I still had like my family was over there. I had just gone out of there with my mom, so my aunts, my grandma there, everybody still lived over there, so I would go there a lot. But one thing I noticed is that, okay, so there's a street over there called Nogales.
Yeah.
And on one side of Nogales Street, is nice. It's pretty much there's a high school right there, Nogales High School. But on one side of the street is nice. It goes kind of like by the Walnut side and stuff, and it's cool. It's cool houses, a lot of big Asian community out there, and
Yeah.
just it's cool. And then, but on the back of Nogales High School, there's a neighborhood back there. That's kind of like where the neighborhoods start, from that in that little area right there. And you could cruise around back there, like you can walk around back there, but it's mostly like Mexican working families and stuff that are back there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are like immigrant families, low income families, but the houses are cool. They're not like run down or anything like that.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
But there's a presence of gangs behind that high school. Like that's where you'll start seeing fools like kicking back and stuff like that. But it all depends on the time of the day you go through there too. Sometimes you won't see nobody, but if you live there, you're gonna know who's who. There was a lot of like little like creeks right there, and there's horse trails. There's horse trails that run all through damn near through all SUV. There's horse trails, and they're like little ones too. They're like on the side of the street. Sometimes they go behind houses, and that's where a lot of the fools kick back. They'll kick back by the horse trails on the hills up there, and there's a bunch of little gangs back there. But you could go to some parts of La Puente, and you probably won't see no gang members at all. Probably just see cool little houses,
Yeah.
But like I said, it all depends. But it's not the same as L.A. being that, I know what you're saying. Like L.A.,
Concentrated in LA.
it's really concentrated, yeah. And there's like, okay, so there's gangs that control like a whole area, but they're not going to be patrolling that whole area. They're going to just be right there posted up in like little spots like houses and stuff, but they're going to pretty much be found in that area. The high school, that was always like other gangs, obviously went to that high school. So across the street, there was like a little shopping center right there. And I mean, it's still there. And that's where kind of like there would be a lot of like issues right there in the shopping center. But I didn't live behind, well, there was times where I lived behind Nogales High School, but only in like, I lived farther back, So we lived in a pretty cool spot. It's just that I was always, like all my friends that I went to high school with, or I went to elementary school, junior high school with, and we all hung out at that high school right there. So a lot of my homies, they were from low income families. They had generational gang members in their families, and they always, like, I didn't really notice anything different. I just went in there, kicked back, and they had older like uncles and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know. I always felt right there. I always felt accepted with them. I had low self-esteem during that time, so it wasn't like I didn't feel comfortable being around people that were like smart in school and things like that, because I was always put down a lot when I was younger. I wasn't really like, I wasn't built up a lot when I was younger. So they were the people that always like, to them, their normal was like putting a bag of weed in our hand and teaching us how to sell it and stuff like that. So it kind of evolved. I like the fact that having something that other people wanted, it was attractive, to me. Being able to get it, they would hook us up too. they would hook us up with a pretty good issue and, you know, send us out and teach us how to do it. And if anything happened, I liked the fact that they would, hey man, they would respond quick, man. Cholos respond super fast. You know, if somebody like did us dirty, or one time somebody talked us out of a bunch of it, you know. And I'm 12 years old, 12, maybe almost 13, and they hooked us up with some green to sell. So I went out there with some of my homies, and there were some older dudes, and they talked us out of like a good issue, and we didn't know what we were doing. We gave them too much, you know. And we went back and we gave my homie's uncle the money, and he was like, they did what? Like, you know, and it was crazy because them fools were like on the phone, and all of a sudden a gang of they're the Regals, bunch of Regals pull up, and them fools are like, yeah, them fools are pumped, you know, and they're like, man, let's get these mother, you know. I was like, damn, you know, and them fools went out hunting for them and did all kinds of shit, turned into a big old thing, and I liked that. I felt like somebody was actually like sticking up for me, you know. I felt like, and I didn't realize that, well, it was probably their money, but it was the principle behind the whole thing. Like, you're not going to burn our little homies. You're not going to burn, you know, he's not going to burn all my nephew. And we weren't even from the gang or nothing at that time, but it was just crazy that the response, it was incredibly stimulating to me. You know, it was something that I had never seen, and it was so fast. It was so angry, and it was insane. I was like, damn, what the hell?
And that's why I asked that question. Like, what do you think drew a bunch of kids to those kind of movies that made them so critical in their life, you know? And for me, that's exactly what it was. You know, obviously, we knew they were gang members, they were cholos. We didn't understand the prison gang dynamic, but
yeah.
I was already from a gang when that movie came out, and everybody around me were cholos already.
Yep.
And so, but looking at that movie, I seen a level of power. I seen something that I wanted. You know what I mean? And basically, in my mind, from early on, it was like, okay, if I got to go to prison to become as powerful as that, to become a...
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I started making those decisions at a very early age, that coming to prison was not going to be a bad thing, because at the end of the day, I'd be able to walk away with that kind of power.
Yep.
You know, and that's exactly why when I came to prison, that's exactly what I did. I automatically, you know, made it my business to get involved in the prison gang, you know, because it just seemed like that's my life had been preparing for that since I was 12 years old, you know, and so a lot of, when they make movies like that, you know, a lot of times, you know, and they didn't make that movie for kids, for sure. They didn't make that movie for kids, you know. They made that movie to tell a story, to show what it was. But you know, when you got, you know, kids who are lost, that's the kind of influence it's gonna have.
You know what I think where they messed up on that movie was, it was too focused on a specific prison gang, and that was kind of like bad. That was a bad move, you know, especially with a gang that is violent is that one, you know. It's like, I think that they could have still told the story. They could have made it more realistic than Blood In, Blood Out, and still told the story, but they were like very specific with events, with people, with, you know, likenesses.
Yeah, it was a historical fiction,
yeah,
basically, with the movie.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You know, you can't make a movie that's historical fiction with people that are still alive,
yeah.
and the people who aren't alive are like super notorious, and you know, it was a bad move. Those dudes, that was the only thing, you know. And I think that I don't know if they glorified it. It was a crazy depiction, because, you know, I've been, like, after that movie, I was in the halls, you know. I was in the halls, and I was like thinking, like, damn, you know, like, I hope no one like runs up on me in the middle of the night. You know what I'm saying? Like,
blood on my knife, or shit on my dick.
Yep. Like, I swear to God, I was laying there in the halls, you know, like, and there would be times where I'd lay on my stomach, and I'd be thinking, damn, this is how it happens.
He was like, should I take the sheet off and make it easier on myself?
I'm just saying, I'm looking for a real experience.
If I'm gonna be here, I want to make sure that I'm following American footsteps.
I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying I'm looking for an experience.
Yeah. Can't nobody say I wasn't authentic with it.
I wasn't authentic in my incarceration.
That's horrible.
Hey, James, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just phone and go out
It's
again.
because I had to
Right.
I'm having some technical
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
some technical difficulties. I got a notification from TikTok that they were gonna restrict the stream because of something that was said on here. So I shut it down and I restarted it back up, and somehow I ended up putting like a background, a filter on me of a moon. So I'm over here trying to take off I'm looking like a moon over here in the background, and I'm trying to take it off. So I don't even know what button I press. I'm over here trying to figure it out.
Hey, very appropriate.
James, wait till you get this painting. Once you get this painting,
Yeah, we gotta change the subject. Yeah, we're getting more.
You're gonna have to put it in the background behind you when you're broadcasting. That thing's big.
Yep.
It might be too big though. You're gonna probably have to rearrange the whole shelf back there.
Hey, we gotta call back right now.
All right, for sure. All right, so hey, can you guys hear me? Anybody that's out there? I'm getting a message that you guys can't hear me. Let me double check. So testing. Okay, Chacha could hear me. Yeah, I could hear myself. All right. Okay. All right. Cool. So I had to shut it down really quick because I was having some. I got a notification that they were gonna restrict the live. So that's what ended up happening. So here we are back again.
This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California.
All right. Cinco.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this
Gracias.
call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, so
hold on. No, I gotta read this comment over here. So Gangster Sotel writes, "True fact: American Me was written by a homeless person and sold it for $75." Is there any truth to this? Have you ever guys? I gotta Google this right now, really quick. Let me see what I find out.
Google it. Gangster Soter bringing us a little history fact. Huh?
hey, you never know.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is all that stuff. I mean, I don't know how that would necessarily be the case because all that everything that was in that movie was all public information.
But it could have been a dude. There's a lot of people in here that don't make it in society, you know, and he could have been a homeless dude that was right there in Guimas and, you know, back in the day.
All that,
yeah, well, not even a part of it, but he could have just, like, we all know the stories.
Yeah.
You know, and so I could see that, but I didn't know about a lot of homeless people writing books and stuff like that, but you never know. Can't put none past anybody, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
For all the people out there like that don't know Jess and I, like, look, we're jokers. We joke around a lot. We joke around at our own expense a lot, you know, to try to liven the mood, you know. And that's what we do. We talk about subjects that are pretty serious. There's people that go through a lot of stuff from here, out there. The homegirl Thumper is going through something right now, so we're trying to put a smile on her face too, you know. And the crazy part is, we do get kicked off TikTok from time to time.
Yeah.
And I told Jesse during the break, you know, and I was like, hey, like, do you know what we've been talking about for 40 minutes?
Hey, but you know what? You can't be all super serious all the time. You know, we gotta, you know, people like humor and laughter and stuff like that. So.
No, yeah, this ain't D with the brocha right now.
No.
Think that'll D, you know? Nah, is that right? Nah, it's not him right now. We're kicking back. We're chilling on a Saturday night with y'all.
Talking about David's first prison rape.
Okay, you use that term. No, Jess, we're talking about rice.
Oh yeah, we're talking about rice sessions. We're talking about Christmas trees and rice sessions.
Yeah,
remember that fool, the fierro that old boy had looked like a Christmas tree.
Oh,
which one? I've seen a lot of them in the past.
Old boy with the rice. You don't remember it?
I thought it was a straight buck knife.
No, hell no. It was a Christmas tree looking thing they put in the old boy.
Oh wow. Yeah, I remember that being bad. That's all I know.
I used to always use that term. Ain't no fucking Italians in East LA.
I remember that. Yep. I remember that.
Anytime a homie in here tells me he's Italian, I'll be like, what? Italian? Ain't no fucking Italians in East LA. Remember he said that? Remember JB said that when he was like, Italians? What? Italian? Ain't no motherfucking Italians in East LA.
And you know the crazy part is that
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
you don't really meet a lot of Italians in California prison. I mean some, but it's not like common, you know. But I could remember like the handful of that Italians that I have met here, and they've all been super cool. Super cool. I don't think I've met one of them that has been like not cool. I met some dudes that were super turned up too, and they were.
I can tell you one jackass Italian. I didn't meet him in here, but he's been to prison. The one that used to be with your sister. The one that what's that fool's name? Kelly. No, Sonny.
He's Italian?
Yep. Him and his brother, they're Italian.
Well, he's a that dude's a cold piece of work right there, James.
Yeah.
Cold piece of work.
Yeah, they're Italian. They go hard on that Italian talk.
Huh. I'll be damned.
Yep. I can't remember that fool's name right now. But
yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I was locked up when my sister was with him. Yeah, he's a straight scumbag.
Yep, straight scumbag.
Hey, you got any confirmation on that homeless guy in that $75 script?
No, so I wasn't able to find anything yet, but I'm gonna have to dig into this a little bit more. He wrote, let me see, Gangsters Hotel wrote. He said it was written a long time before it came out. I want to say 70s or 80s.
Well, all that stuff was from the 80s. I mean, at least, you know. I mean, the original stuff was definitely like 50s, 60s, when they were real young. Because they were young. That started like in like the 60s, or the end of the 50s, early 60s, and Tracy or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, the concept of it was definitely, you know, in that era before that. But yeah, it's crazy how everything just materialized in the way things are now, and just the prison system in general has changed so much, man. It's even from when I came in 2000. You know, I came in 2000, 18 years old. It was different, man. Like the COs at that time, they weren't dudes that you would want to have a conversation with. You know, like you can go to the yard now and I can walk out and I say good morning to them and stuff like that, and they'll say good morning, and you know, it's real respectful. You can have a little chit chat about a baseball game or something like that. But back then in 2000 when I came to prison, hell no. You say what's up to them, they'll get up in your face with a couple of their homies. Talking to, yeah, they weren't like, they had like an air of menace to them. But it was a dangerous system. These were extremely violent, so they were extremely violent. Yeah, so it was different, you know. And that time, like when they put you in a cell, like that's what it was. You go in a cell, they close the door behind you. That's do what you do.
It was reciprocating the same kind of attitudes that they were getting.
Yep.
It became a part of the culture.
Yeah, it was a crazy part of the culture, man.
And that's how hard it's been for. And it's going to be for them to unravel that culture, because still some of it still exists here, and the same way it is the same obstacles that we face trying to get people to change. You know, other residents in here. It's the same thing dealing, you know, with that with the COs. Sometimes, you know, they've been conditioned a certain way because they've seen certain things in here, and some guys in here are conditioned a certain way because they've seen certain things in here. You know, so it takes a while. It's a process, you know, to get rid of that old. Out with the old and in with the new.
Yeah, we have a lot of there's a lot of distrust still, you know. Like them that from that side, there's no trust, you know. They have really no trust. Like they tolerate certain things that we do, and there's there's got to be some trust there. You know, when they open our door, we're not going to go ham on someone and stuff. But there's a distrust just in general. You know, I've been working on my distrust. I have a James, you there?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Yeah. No, I have a just gotta make sure because sometimes the tablet goes blank like that. But I do battle with an extreme distrust of law enforcement. I just do, and it's not really law enforcement out there on the streets. I do have a distrust of them too, but especially a lot of the officers in here, I have an extreme distrust for them. And I know it's not fair to put everybody in one, you know, in one little bundle and be like, well, these guys are all the same, you know. But I've just seen a lot of stuff, James. I got weary eyes. You know, I just have, you know, being in the system for a long time, and I know what it is, and this place is like a machine, man. It's a machine of corruption, and I'm not saying from them. I'm saying that in general. Like, the prison system, it's just like a machine of corruption, man. You know, we see it in the guys in blue, you know, in here too. And I think about it like, man, like, there's people that come in here, and they're not built like this. Look at me walking in here. I was a low-level cholo walking in here, but right when I come in here, I got a little bit of pep to my step. You know what I mean? I'm trying to grow my little brocha out. You know, got them 3 buttons on the top. You know, the rest of it unbuttoned. You know, and it's crazy because I felt like you feel like everything is so you're so like isolated from the world. Every type of like fear you have, every type of every fear pretty much turns to anger, right there, you know. Then you have like
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
If you have like a toothache or something, it freaking just explodes at that time. It's just crazy, man. And so I could imagine that the officers that come in here that just see like just such corruption in this place, how are they not gonna, you know, fall into some of that ideology? You know, and especially when they see one of these maniacs in here, like assault one of their, you know, coworkers or something like that. It's like, damn, like, you know, it's just crazy, man. You know, so I do feel like there's a lot of work that needs to be done on both sides, you know, and I also believe that they need to separate the men from the animals, because there's animals in here.
I think you're gonna say they have to separate the men from the women.
Well, the thing is that's not appropriate to say anymore. So that's not what I was going to say at all. So, yeah, this one's on James' TikTok world. You know, yeah, we'll talk about a lot of stuff, you know, mag lights and rice, but you know what James said was unacceptable.
Hey, but it is a reality now.
It's a reality, but that's not. See, the thing is, the funny part, that's not even the problem in here.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the ingrained culture of violence, drugs, corruption. It's deep in this place, man. You know, and people, they do it, and it's almost like they're on autopilot. You know, they put a guy back in our building today, and he moved out, and everybody's celebrating when this dude left. You know, he was just, I literally watched this guy, James, walk around. I think I told you, when they came in, they sprayed pesticides or whatever, or not pesticides, they sprayed like rats, I don't know, what is that spray? What do you call it? Pesticides. Yeah, they sprayed it for the bugs. This fool walked around with a piece of paper, and he was putting it on the paper. Like, he was putting it on the paper so this fool can roll it up and smoke it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of weirdo this dude is. You know, and the funny part is I still battle with the thing like, well, I can't wait till this dude lights that up and chokes on that, you know? And that's the corruption of this place, you know? It's like, man, that idiot, I hope he freaking poisons himself on accident, you know? He's so stupid, you know?
Can't get much worse than all the other poison that fool's smoking.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because he went into the other building. He moved out, went into another building, and got beat up twice. Yeah, since he left, and he got beat up again today.
By his own cellie.
Yep, by his own cellie, and they moved him back into our building today.
You know
And it's
what?
gonna be super weird in here with that dude in here.
This kind of reminds me of the story
Yeah.
you guys told me last time when I was out there about that one dude that sold that what was it? What was it that he sold? Some wax?
Oh yeah, yeah. The one
Yeah.
that
The hair grease. He's
Or hair grease, yep.
passing off his wax.
he's one of those. This guy's one of those guys.
Yep, he's exactly. That's
Yeah,
exactly
that's his
his
personality. It's like, yeah, so those personalities do exist here. So you think like, man, like, what do you do with these dudes? How do you transferring them around, sending them around, and doing all this stuff? It's not going to teach them. I mean, what are you going to do? You send them to one of these crazy yards, and they end up getting got over there. That's not going to, like, what do you do with these dudes? These dudes need like intensive therapy, man. These guys need like psychotherapy. What I know about the system is that you have to request the help. They can't just force it on you, right?
No.
Yeah, they can't just force it on you unless you're a danger to yourself or others, and you're displaying something like crazy, Like, yeah, they'll come get you. But if you're just walking around just destroying your life, or just blatantly, just getting beat up and constantly getting in issues, and there's probably some screws loose in his head. I don't want to say probably. I can guarantee you there's something wrong with him, and he needs some help.
He's got a drug problem. That's what's wrong.
Yeah, he's got a horrible drug problem.
Other than that, he's actually not a dumb dude. It's just
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I've had some excellent conversations with the guy too.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just got no scruples and a bad drug problem. I guess that makes you a bad person.
Well, I don't think it makes him a bad person. I think it makes him a sick person.
Yeah.
I definitely think he needs some help.
Yeah.
James, want to do another call?
Yeah, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. Yep, I will be here. We'll be waiting.
All right.
All right, for sure. All right, so we currently got David and Jesse on the line. Normally we run these calls a little bit earlier, but due to my scheduling, we had to run it a little bit later than normal. And let me see here. We got somebody tapping in from USP, Big Sandy. Let me see, Desert Queen. Let me see. I'm seeing your comments right here. I'm not sure how come they're not coming up on your TV, but yeah, I'm seeing them on my end. All right, phone's ringing.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
So,
David. Yep. All right.
Yeah, so we're back. Somehow we're still on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know how we survived this one.
You know what? I had a comment that I wanted to read off earlier on, but I brought up that whole American me and blood in, blood out, and that conversation went left. So I want to read this one out before I forget to read it off. It was from Gangster's Hotel, and he wrote, same here. As sad as it sounds, that music had a big role to play. I'm 45 and barely starting to get it together after 22 years of being paralyzed from the neck down due to dirty game.
Damn. That's tough, man. Sorry to hear that. That's gotta be tough, man. And that's horrible, man. And that, we give a shout out to you, man. It takes an incredible amount of strength, man, to overcome something like that. Even if it's not physically, mentally, emotionally, picking yourself up and moving ahead, man. That's an amazing thing. You're an amazing person. It is a dirty game. We don't know the details or anything like that, but Jess and I, we've been around, and we know all the scenarios, And yeah, that's you're an amazing person, man. I don't know if you don't know if you can do it until you're in those shoes,
Yeah.
Yeah. that's a prison of itself.
Yep.
So the fact that you still got that kind of disposition, that's a good thing. That's a win for you, because I don't know if I'd be able to handle it.
Yep. Yeah, that's crazy. What else you got for us, James?
Ms. Vero said, great talk tonight, guys. Good night. She's hitting the hay.
Hey, buenas noches. That's what we're about to do too.
Yep. Buenas noches, Ms. Vero.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Cool, man. Cool to see you
next time.
Yep. About Thumper, man. You keep your head up, Thumper. That's natural, man, to hear. Your head up.
Hopefully your family's all doing all right.
Yep.
Everybody's, circling around you, supporting you, giving you the confianza that you need, and the
you gotta be strong for your family,
Yeah.
You gotta hold it together.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Des, Felipe's girl, she's gonna go to surgery on the 29th, I believe, and we're rooting for her. That cancer came back with a vengeance, and she's got to take care of it, and it's a life or death kind of thing, and we're here for the boy, for Felipe, and we got to hold each other up in here. It's not easy. In a lot of ways, the viewers out there, the people that interact with us, Chris Lair, L.I. Smith, Thumper, like a lot of the regulars, Marlene, Star Media, you guys, in a lot of ways, you guys help hold us up in here. You guys give us a voice, including James, man. James, you're a big part of that. You give us a voice. Well, we lost our voice a long time ago, and you gave it back to us. We've been in here, beating on tables and, sending the message, presenting our stuff, walking in circles, stuff like that, but
yeah,
you help bring us back to the world, a world that we took it for granted. And so that's just it's an amazing thing that you're doing. I know you're gonna love your painting. The painting's badass.
Man, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, did Pablo tell you about it?
Nah, he said it's so incredible that he didn't want to ruin it for me.
It's bad.
Yeah.
He's like, can I look at it? We're like, yeah, go ahead. Hey, he's got that. Hey, he's got that 1,000-yard stare in his eye now when he's seen it. Like he saw The Ring. The Ring on TV. Talking about that movie, The Ring. I'm like, damn.
Hey, I'm gonna get it, and it's gonna be missing some pieces. Like, hey, Pablo, like, what happened? Like, they said pass the wire, not to take the wire.
Yeah, not to pinch the wire.
Yeah.
All bad. He should be up out of here in a few days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe any day he should be seeing parole.
I'm sure they'll let him know exactly when, but it sucks that he's still kind of like, he's not in limbo, but I mean, he's waiting for the next step, Yeah. That obstacle's out the way, so he's out of here.
Hey, but you know what? So, so I was watching those hearings the other day because they had some on Monday and Tuesday. And I talked to you on Tuesday when you called in, and you remember I had mentioned some guy, Andrew Luster.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Yeah. So I ended up checking up like the status and everybody that went on that day, everybody got approved. But then the next day, Amy sent me a message. She was like, "Hey, they took
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada."
They took Andrew's date. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it was all over the media. They rescinded his date, but I'm not sure who took it away. I'm not sure if it was the governor or if the parole board changed their mind on it. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I didn't realize that once you go back in front of the board, they could still take your date away. I thought once they approve you, then you would be good to go.
Who's Andrew?
So
he's a dude that did some like. Oh, go ahead, James.
So have you? Okay, so back in the late 90s or early 2000s, that dude he was GHB, and I think he's the one that made GHB big, like when it came out in the media. So he was sedating women with GHB.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he was recording them. But what made it so what put it in the news was that this dude, he was the heir to the Max Factor cosmetics line. So that fool, he came for money. And he ended up, I think, in the middle of the trial or after he got found guilty, he was out on bail and he shook. He went to Mexico, and Dog the Bounty Hunter went and tracked him down, and then he tried to bring him back. But then in Mexico, it's against the law to do bounty hunting. So they ended up arresting both of them, Andrew Luster and Dog the Bounty Hunter, and then the Mexican authorities, I guess, turned over Andrew Luster to the U.S. and then Dog the Bounty Hunter, I think they had to bail him out, and then he ended up getting 50 years, 50 years to life, and he's only done like 20 something, like 23, 24 years, but then they ended up passing Proposition 57, which stated that doing those type of activities, if the person was unconscious, wasn't considered a violent crime. So he was able to get in front of the parole board through that loophole. So a bunch of people got pissed off, and then I guess they're switching the law back to that it doesn't matter if you're conscious or unconscious, it's still considered a violent offense. So I'm not sure if that'll affect him being able to go in front of the parole board again, since they're going to change the law.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, it probably not, because unless that's what they're thinking when they took his date back, that they could get boob up him before he can get back in there, because they could rescind his date and then put him out, for another. It takes, I think, 6 months. You got to go back in front of the full panel.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a weird dude right there, huh?
Super weird.
And how did Amy know that they took his date? She knows him?
No, so it was all over the media. So I guess because when the hearing started, he was the first one that came up, and the name, it kind of sounded familiar, but I couldn't place it. So she put a message, and she was like, I don't know. She said that that she thought he was out already, and then so that piqued my curiosity. So I looked him up really quick, and as soon as his picture popped up, I was like, oh, I knew exactly who he was. So I'm assuming after that day after she was in the hearing, she probably Googled him, or it came up on her feed on TikTok or on YouTube, because when I looked it up, there was like all kinds of articles about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the reason the reason she knew about it was because I put it up on YouTube. I was playing the hearing live, so she caught it while I was streaming it.
Oh, you could stream it like that?
Yeah, so they're live. They stream them live on if you find the links and whatnot, you everybody, like anybody that wants to watch it has access to those particular ones when they're doing the in-bank hearings. So that's how I was able to get on, and I put them up.
And what do they do when they're in there? Do they, like, how does it work?
So what happens is they'll say the individual's name, and then they'll ask the audience if there's anybody that's that wants to speak on supporting them getting released, and then after if there's people that they're gonna speak on their behalf, then they'll go ahead and let everybody, they'll give everybody 2 minutes to speak, and then once everybody's done speaking, they'll ask if there's anybody that's opposing their release, and then they'll go ahead and start talking about it. And for Andrew, there was quite a few people that were supporting his release, and then after all those people started speaking, then the victim's family started speaking, and man, it was a real eye opener, like the people that were affected, by the things he did. A lot of people spoke against him, being released, and then I think what a lot of people do is because 2 minutes is not enough, to put out your message that you want. So a lot of family members, I think what they do is they get all together and they're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna say this too. In these 2 minutes, I'm gonna say all of this, and then you go ahead and take off, so we could go ahead and get our whole message out to the parole board. But from what it looks like, I don't think the parole board is really taking any of those comments into consideration. Because I went back and I was checking when was the last time somebody got denied, and up until I went all the way back to July, that's when I was able to find somebody that actually got denied by the board. For the last few months, everybody's been getting approved for their bank hearings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times getting embanked by the government is just a formality so he can get it off of his hands.
Yeah.
The guy's pretty much, presented this.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And obtain their dates, and usually if it's embanked, most of the time it's just a formality so the governor can have some deniability if for some reason something goes wrong, or like it's politics. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm not letting these guys out. They're letting them out. They always have that. I'm tough on crime. Whatever it is. Just Governor Yoga Pants.
That's what it is. But hey, this call's gonna probably how much time have we got left on here, James?
We got about 2 minutes.
Cool. So it's gonna be our last call. So I just want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, and my family out there, my son, to all the listeners that are with us. When we come on and spend this time with us. We've been out here shooting the breeze for a couple hours. When we come on, and we have a lot of listeners or viewers that spend this time with us. So we appreciate that, especially on a Saturday night.
Absolutely. Definitely want to send a shout out to the family, to all the loved ones, everybody that's regularly supporting us. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday night. I'm super tired. I'm already dragging ass, but I still got to go rinse my shoes and wash my shoes and get ready for bed. Get ready for a visit tomorrow. But yeah, definitely thank you guys for being here. Thank you, James, for everything you do. Thank you for taking us on your little vacations to Disneyland, and always including us on your little trips and taking us here for that little moment. And that's always awesome. Like, definitely means a lot. I look forward to seeing some of those places in person. So it's definitely an honor to be able to share those little moments here.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
You to share them with us, and help us get out of here for a moment,
We'll try to get back on as soon as we can.
We'll get the bags ready because we got another one coming up on November 9th. We're gonna go international, boys.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Hey, I will be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's cool, James. Thank you for everything, man. It was cool talking to you, man. And we'll be in touch throughout the week or something, and we'll see if we can schedule something later in the week when you're not working.
All right.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate all your time.
I send my love to Chubby Jessica, Lex Luke, Bruce Willis. Yep. Bruce Willis. And all the other regulars, Marlene.
Yep.
Fish Lair, SoCal. Hopefully we can talk to you soon. And a life, man, for sure.
Yep. Say the thing, like a candle away and lights like a box of chocolates.
Like I said right here, lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we're out. A rato. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in for the last 2 hours. Everybody that was in here, Gangsters Hotel, Erica, sorry, my apologies, Eric Martinez, Desert Queen, Scorpio Rising. Who else did we get over here on this side? I think that was it on the YouTube side. Let me see. But over here on the TikTok, let me see who we got on TikTok side. We got Cha Cha. Highly appreciate you. Appreciate the likes. Let me see right here. Angie, appreciate it. Miss Vero, Jason, Lizzie, Lorraine, Native Girl, Jesse Aguilar 01. Elias Man, can't forget about Elias Man. Giant 89, Crusher, Joe Billions coming out from Carson City, the Harbor area. Marlene, and I think that's it. That's as far as it lets me go up. But hey, I appreciate everybody. If I missed you, I didn't mean to, but I'll catch you on the next one. All right, you guys go ahead and have a good one. And with that, I am out. Buenas noches.